I particularly am pleased to yield it to my fellow senator from North Dakota.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you to my friend and colleague, Senator Hoeven. Let me first, before I get into my prepared comments, associate myself with his words, his eloquent appreciation and congratulations to the folks at NDSU, to the football team. And let me just say, I don't care what President Trump says, in Bison Nation, we never get tired of winning. With that, Madam President, I rise today for the first time as a member of this prestigious body, as a United States Senator, to talk about a critical issue that faces our nation, and that is every citizen's right to life. It's no coincidence that I rise today, the week of the March for Life. This coming Friday is the 46th annual March for Life, where citizens from across the country and hundreds from North Dakota, especially students from places like Shanley High School and the University of Mary and other institutions around our state, will unite to fight against the largest, deadliest, and most silent war this world has ever known. This, my colleagues, is the war against the unborn. During my time in the House of Representatives the last 6 years and throughout my campaign for the Senate last year, I promised the people of North Dakota that I would fight for life at all stages. And today I unite with those who will march this Friday, who will walk with heavy and hopeful hearts, and who pray for the 60 million discarded children who have been denied their very first breath. Colleagues, I stand here today to call to mind a child's right to life and protection within the womb of his or her mother. Since Roe v. Wade, which the Supreme Court decided in 1973, over 60 million children have been denied their right to life. 60 million children have been refused love, comfort, a hug, care, opportunity, and breath. They were torn from experiencing the beauty of the world that we are so fortunate to see. They were torn from family and unknown friends. To deny 60 million innocent children the right to these things is the highest injustice to our people and the highest offense of our God, to our God. And I speak on behalf of the citizens of North Dakota and all citizens who will gather this week to say that it is absolutely unacceptable that within this country, life is treated as a commodity rather than a gift from an omnipotent Creator. Some of my pro-choice colleagues and friends may say that in taking this stance, I'm standing against women's rights. Nothing could be further from the truth. That this is an issue of women's rights. Well, it's an issue for the millions of women who have been denied the right to life. And I fully support women's rights. I just began supporting them 9 months earlier than some of my colleagues on the other side of this important issue. To my colleagues who are pro-life, who are supportive of this fight, I remind them that abortion is a great injustice, but it is particularly common in situations, in communities that have suffered other injustices. If we're going to be pro-life, I think we must be pro all of life and address the factors that cause women to decide to end the life of their unborn children. The United States has seen a great evil throughout its history. We've seen and experienced slavery, discrimination, human trafficking, all these things illegal. And these things are issues on which we as a country take a moral stance. However, abortion is legal. 60 million lives have been ended legally in our country. Here in Washington, D.C., nearly 40% of pregnancies end in abortion. In New York City, an African-American child is more likely to be aborted than born. As one nation under God, we as a country should know better. We must know better. And I believe we do know better. No government should limit the lives of its youngest and most innocent citizens. As a senator, I give you my promise to fight for life, and I ask my colleagues to join me. This is my promise to the people of North Dakota who have chosen me as their senator, and my promise to my fellow citizens, especially those who have never had the chance to speak with their voices. Within my first few weeks here, I've signed on to several pro-life priorities. I've signed a letter asking President Trump to veto any legislation that undermines the right to life. Additionally, I've co-sponsored the Protect Funding for Women's Health Care Act, a bill that would end federal funding for Planned Parenthood and shift that money to women's health services. In North Dakota, we don't have any Planned Parenthood clinics. but we have 16 community health centers and over 20 federally qualified health centers. Shifting this money towards these health centers would help the women in my state receive better and more accessible health care. Let me say that again. Shifting funding away from the abortion clinics and towards these community health centers would provide more funds to the health centers that care for women across the state of North Dakota. Additionally, I've co-sponsored the No Taxpayer Funding for Abortion and Abortion Insurance Full Disclosure Act and the Title X Prohibition Act, two bills that protect the taxpayer from funding the abortion industry. I've co-sponsored the Born Alive Abortion Survivors Protection Act, which would guarantee that a child that survives an abortion will receive the same medical care as a premature child of the same age. And the Child Interstate Notification Act, which protects the rights of parents to be notified if their child is going to have an abortion. And finally, I've co-sponsored the Pain Capable Unborn Child Protection Act, which would ban abortion after 20 weeks. My fellow senators, I stand here because of the citizens of North Dakota and of the United States who desire to see these bills and many other important pro-life bills passed and signed into law. They want an end to this injustice. I recognize my responsibility to fight for the youngest, most vulnerable members of our society and our future generations. So today I stand with my constituents and with the entire population of the United States, especially the men and women who have been robbed of their right to life. And so I urge you to take a stand on this pressing issue as well. With our united efforts, the killing of our unborn citizens will continue to diminish. Our work is fruitful. Every legislative session, we see more and more laws passed at the state level that protect unborn life. From 2008 to 2014, the abortion rate in the United States has dropped 25%. Each year, we're making great strides in giving a voice to the voiceless. This fight is not a political fight, but a fight for humanity itself. It is a war against all of us and against all of our children, no matter our ideologies. We have to learn to prioritize this issue in our own parties and work across the aisle. We have to look at each other with open minds and open hearts to solve this crisis that has plagued our country. We must do better at reaching out and uniting with one another in defense of one of the most fundamental rights, the right to life. The truth is this: we must uphold this right because, quote, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed at the time of creation by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Without the first, that is the right to life, we can have neither liberty nor pursue happiness. We've been denying that first for far too long, so let's join together now to give the future of our country, our next generations, the right to life. Madam President, with that, I yield the floor.
From North Dakota.
Thank you, Madam President. And I'd like to commend my fellow senator from North Dakota on his heartfelt comments today and express my support and agreement with him and with those comments.